Texas, and Trump's response to it. Juan is, of course, dissecting the situation, calling Trump and white people by name, such as Joel Osteen, the famous megachurch preacher in the same city, Houston, and somebody else, I guess, just basically calling white men out by name as cheap for not doing enough. I guess Trump gave $1 million, and Joel Osteen didn't let people stay in his megachurch during the flooding or give out supplies or whatever. So Juan is focused on that. My response is to Juan's indictment of the white race by pointing out specific members of it through implication. Well, turn the tables on that. And what about the black race? Probably most of the victims in Houston of the hurricane are homeless people and people who couldn't get out of there, who, lived by rivers and stuff like that or whatever. But also, there's probably a lot of blacks being affected, and also whites, but regardless, what are rap stars like? These people who are making big money and big paydays off of white people, off of white audiences in particular, as entertainers. What are they doing for these people hit by the flood? What's his name? The guy who just fought Conor McGregor, the boxer, Mayweather. He had a $300 million payday. What's he doing to help victims of the Houston flood? I bet nothing. I haven't heard anything. I'm sure if they were doing something, they would have said something. What are the biggest high-profile names in sports and entertainment? Blacks. What are they doing for these people? Nothing. What's Jay-Z doing for those people? I don't see anything. So, and then you have, and they're also talking about Al Sharpton coming on the scene to make a case for the hurricane profiling blacks and to exploiting white people's money because blacks are in a tragedy or whatever. But then, what it also speaks to is that people will advocate for blacks, but there's nobody advocating for whites. So where's our white advocate talking about the tragedy that it befallen upon the white man and woman and family by this incident, and also by other factors related to, let's just say, other people, right? And even hypothetically, even if there were big profile black people, whatever, giving money to victims, typically those kind of people they'll only donate to causes that are specific to their own race, even, right? And people will consider that as being fine, being acceptable. Whereas if the self-same people that Juan Williams, for example, is criticizing for not having given too much, not having given enough, ostensibly. Like Trump, I guess he gave $1 million of his own money or whatever. But if he's ostensibly, what if Trump or another white man had given to a fund for whites, victims of the disaster, to help his own people, the same as probably what would be expected or what would seem acceptable for a black person if they did give their money, which they are not, there would be an eruption even greater than if they had not given anything at all. Let me say that again, because I twisted a bunch of words up, even though I know it's grammatically correct. Shortest distance between 2 points, a straight line. If Trump had given money to a white relief fund, he would get more, scorn from people like Juan Williams than if he had given nothing at all. Whereas if a black person, star or whatever, gave money to a specifically black cause relief fund, nobody would say anything about it, least of all Juan Williams. And somehow they purport to justify the double standard by some twisted logic where equality is inequality and two standards apply because equality and being unjust and having a double standard and being unequal is equal. It's like everything is backwards for them. So I have a hard time watching some like mainstream shows today. Like I kind of liked The Five for a while, but then it's just getting on my nerves. I honestly just don't like that whiny Juan Williams mostly. I mean, if they have to have a token black guy on there, at least have one with some, like, somebody with some integrity, like they have a token black on SCOTUS, but he's one of the best SCOTUSes we have, actually. He's almost more reliable than any other SCOTUS besides Scalia. Clarence Thomas, I believe, is his name. I don't have that memorized offhand. I'm not looking anything up right now, but the black SCOTUS, there's only one. And he's reliable. He's most reliable. This guy, he is fabulous. Like, that's a fabulous pickup for a win for conservatives. At least he rules conservatively every time. So that's great. But if if they need a token black guy, at least let him be like Clarence Thomas or someone like somebody who's conservative, like Larry Elder is fabulous. Like I don't think I've ever disagreed with that guy. Although sometimes he says some racial stuff that goes against whites, maybe unintentionally, maybe intentionally, I don't know. Sort of like difficult to ascertain, but I've retweeted with commentary on some of Larry Elder's stuff, basically making some points to contrast with what he's saying. But most of everything I agree with what he says. Things like him or obviously Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell's only been wrong. Thomas Sowell, I think he was wrong about Trump, or was he right about Trump? I don't know. He was wrong about something really big, kind of recently, like within the past year or two. I don't remember what it was, but everything except that is really good. And there are others, but like I'm just saying, on the Five, if they're gonna have a token, at least let it be somebody with integrity, not Juan Williams.